All right. Let me talk to you all about what you're doing today. All right? We are talking about a Journal of the Plague Year. A Journal of the Plague Year is something you all read last week while I was out. Okay? Now, what I want you to do right now is, first of all, you have this handout. I'm going to tell you what it is in just a second. What I want you to do is I want you to get out your textbook and turn to page 582. And I'm going to talk to you about what you're doing today. Come on, let's go. Let's put those cups on the floor.
It's probably best anyway.
Yes. All right. When you read A Journal of the Plague Year, you had questions that went along with it, okay? And hopefully you completed those questions, and we will go over that in due time. Another thing you should have picked up on when it comes to A Journal of the Plague Year, it is a piece of fiction. But does it sound like a piece of fiction? No, it doesn't. It has what you call verisimilitude, okay? He uses that particular literary element in order to make it seem real, okay? Daniel Defoe does that, okay? Now, we know that the bubonic plague did happen in London, okay? And it happened several times, or at least more than one time, in Europe, okay? So, first of all, what I've given you is I've given you this, okay? This is just some information about the London plague of 1665 by David Ross, all right? And this is just an excerpt. All right, this is not the entire thing because this did actually happen. So let's take a look at this. Ladarius, you gonna work with this group, baby? All right, come on. All right, when it comes to this, all right, Sarah, do us a favor. Read those first two sections under the Black Death, giving us information about it.
In the year 1665, death came calling on the city of London. Death in the form of a plague. People called it the Black Death. Black of the color of the telltale lumps that foretold his presence in the victim's body and death for the inevitable result. The plague germs were carried by fleas which lived as parasites on rats. Although it had first appeared in Britain in 1348, the islands were never totally free of plague, but it was like an unpleasant possibility that people would just learn to live with while they got on with their business. This time it was different. In 1663, plague ravaged Holland. Charles II forbade any trade with the Dutch, partly out of wise concern and partly because his realm was engaged in a fierce trade war with Holland, which eventually erupted into armed conflict. Despite the precautions, the early spring of 1665 brought a sudden rise in the death rate in the poorer sections of London. The authorities ignored it. As spring turned into one of the hottest summers in memory, the number of deaths escalated and panic set in.
All right, thank you, Sarah. Jamie, do me a favor. Read that next section about the rich. The rich flee.
The nobility left the city for their estates in the country. They were followed by the merchants and the lawyers. The inns of court were deserted. Most of the clergy suddenly decided they could best minister to their flocks from far, far away. The College of Surgeons fled to the country, which did not stop several of its members from learned papers about the disease they had been at such pains to avoid. The court moved to Hampton Court House.
All right, thank you, sweetie. All right, next. Savannah, read The Gates Are Closed and Desperate Measures for us, please, sweetie.
By June, the roads were clogged with people desperate to escape London. The Lord Mayor responded by closing the gates to anyone who did not have a certificate of health. These certificates became a currency more valuable than gold, and a thriving market in forged certificates grew up. By mid-July, over 1,000 deaths per week were reported in the city. It was rumored that dogs and cats spread the disease, so the Lord Mayor ordered all the dogs and cats destroyed. Author Daniel Defoe, in his Journal of the Plague Years, estimated that 40,000 dogs and 200,000 cats were killed. The real effect of this was that there were few natural enemies of the rats who carried the plague's fleas, so the germs spread more rapidly. Anyone in constant contact with plague victims, such as doctors, nurses, and inspectors, were compelled to carry colored staffed out staffs outdoors so that they could be easily seen and avoided. When one person in a house caught the plague, the house was sealed until 40 days after the victim either recovered or died, usually the latter. Guards were posted at the doors to see that no one got out. The guard had to be bribed to allow any food to be passed to the inmates. It was not unknown for families to break through the walls of the house to escape, and in several cases they carefully lowered a noose over the guard's head from an attic window and hung him so they could get away.
So they could get away. Okay, thank you. Now, this is real, okay? This is based on actual accounts, all right? What is also included in here is a reference is made to Daniel Defoe's A Journal of the Plague Years, okay? Now, let me tell you what your task is going to be today. You know that this is real, what we've just looked at, right? Yes? All right. Your job with the Journal of the Plague Year as a group is to identify give me 5 examples from that text in which something is written that is believable. Because we know it's a piece of fiction, but give me 5 examples from the text that make it seem believable. All right? And then in addition to that, I want to know why it's believable. Why it's believable. Because you know I'm a why person. I want to know why. All right? Now, I'm going to give you all about 15 minutes to do this as a group. And you divide it up however you want to. In 15 minutes, when I call time, we're going to discuss this. All right? Let's go. What we're going to do, okay? I'm going to go from group to group to group, and then we're just going to continue to do that, all right? Now, Carlitha, listen up. Let's pay attention. Carlitha, when it comes to your group, you all were supposed to locate 5 examples in A Journal of the Plague Year by Daniel Defoe, 5 examples that make that piece of fiction believable, and tell me why. So give me one example.
Just that we did page 585, lines 80 through 82.
Okay, let's turn to page 585. Let's look at lines 80 to 82. All right. Now read those lines to us, Carlitha.
But just at the interval, I saw 2 links come over from the ends of the
Minories
and heard the bellman, and then appeared at dead carts.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Why do you all find those lines to be believable?
Okay, so basically, like, when we learned about this, like, when we learned about it in world histories, that was one of the things we learned about. So we know, like, this is something that actually happened.
Okay.
That's kind of what we went by.
Okay, you went by. So what you did is you pulled something that you learned before, you pulled it in and tied it to this. So that's something that actually happened. All right? When the bubonic plague occurred. All right? Good. Good, good, good. All right, Elena, your group. Give us an example.
We said that delirious would jump in the pit. That's lines 52 to 53.
62 to 53.
52.
I'm sorry, 52 to 53. Okay, read those lines to us, and we're on page 584.
For people that were infected and near their end, and delirious also would run to those pits, wrapped in blankets or rugs, and throw themselves in, and as they said, bury themselves. We said that was believable because people went crazy and they got tired of living in the sickness, so they just wanted to end it, and they just kind of went mad, so we thought that was believable.
Okay, now, you thought it was believable. What are you connecting that to? Take it a step further. What are you connecting that to that makes you think it's believable? Because of what?
Like the madness during that time. The madness as in, like, people were drinking gold at one point.
They didn't really have a lot of knowledge.
They killed all them dogs and cats because they thought
They just didn't want.
they were going crazy. They
Okay.
didn't know.
Because of the madness, okay? Because of madness, everybody around them, it seemed like everybody was dying, right? There wasn't enough knowledge, okay? So the quickest way to end their suffering is to do what? Yeah, and that's what they did, okay? Because they probably figured it was going to come to them anyway. right? All right, good, good, good. Katie, your group, y'all are up. Give us an example.
Doesn't matter who goes. Oh, okay. On page 586, lines 129 through 131. It says, in these walks I had just small scenes before my eyes, as particularly of persons falling dead in the streets, terrible shrieks and screeching of women who in their agonies would throw open their chamber windows and cry. And we said that because people, like, everyone was sick, and so they would just drop dead because there's nothing else they could do. Like, it was their time to go, so they just died wherever they were.
Died wherever they were. In these walks I had many dismal scenes before my eyes, as particularly of persons falling dead in the streets, terrible shrieks and screechings of women, out, who in their agonies would throw open their chamber windows and cry. Okay? They didn't have anywhere else to turn, right?
Right.
All right? They were going to meet their end no matter what. All right? And like Allie's group said, they didn't have knowledge. Okay? Today we could probably treat this, all right? Or at least lessen the number who suffered. Okay? All right, good, good, good. All right, back over here. Sarah, your group, give us another example.
Pages 585 through 586.
Okay, line numbers.
14 through 124.
114 to 1 what?
24.
124. So we're looking at 114 through 124 on pages 585 to 586. All right, read those lines to us.
This was a mournful scene indeed. It affected me almost as much as the rest, but the other was awful and full of terror. The cart had in it 16 or 17 bodies. Some were wrapped up in linen sheets, some in rags, some little other than naked, or so loose that no covering they had fell from them in the shooting out of the cart, and they fell quite naked among the rest. But the matter was not much to them, or they need to see much to anyone else, seeing they were all dead, and were to be huddled together in the common grave of mankind, as we all may call it. But here was no difference made, but poor and rich went together. There was no other way of burials, neither was it possible there should, for coffins, or not to be added for the
Prodigious.
numbers that fell in such a calamity as this.
Okay. And why do you all think that's believable?
I learned that in world history too. Like, he was telling us about how they would just drop dead, and then they would put them into carts, just put the bodies into carts, and they would just lay around like that.
Okay, now, all right, something you pulled from world history as well. Let me ask you all this. All right, so, and this stands today. Everybody was buried with everybody because you just had these mass graves, okay? All right, they didn't say anything about any type of, any planned funerals, did they? No, they didn't have time for that. So everybody was going in with everybody. So you had the poor mixed in with the rich, right? So what is that saying about death?
It doesn't matter whether you're rich or you're not. Death is death.
Death is death, and death is the great what? Equalizer. Okay? Because at that point, you're all equal. Okay? And that's something that is true today, right? All right. All right. Good. Good, good. All right. Seth, coming back to your group, give us another example.
Well, we put the one where, okay, they were grieving for their loved ones, like on lines 92 and through 113.
Okay, so we're on page 585, line 92 through, what did you say, sweetie?
The man, he was, like, his wife and children were dumped in the pit, and the people were upset if their loved ones died. Some even, like, went crazy. I don't know.
Well, read the lines to us, Michael, so we can really understand where you're coming from.
When the barriers came up to him, they soon found. Hold on. All right. He said nothing as he walked about, but 2 or 3 times groaned very deeply and loud, and sighed as he would break his heart. When the barriers came up to him, they soon found he was neither a person infected and desperate, as I have observed above, or a person distempered in mind, but one oppressed with a dreadful weight of grief indeed. having his wife and several of his children all in the